So we've come to the end of the first month of Donald Trump's second presidency. And there's been a lot of things that have happened. A lot of concern has been raised, a lot of moral outrage over the injustices that we've seen, the disregard for law, the disregard for human dignity, human life, the disregard for stability, the chaos that we've seen. A lot of concerns have been raised, but I want to share a concern that's not as immediately apparent. And it's a concern that I have not so much with President Trump, but a concern for you and myself. And the concern is that if the economy turns around in a few months or a few weeks, the inflationary rates are going down or the stock market is going up, I'm concerned that if these things happen, that we will quickly forget the things that we've seen here in these first few weeks, that we will forget the injustices because we will see that things are getting better for us personally. And after all, that's why President Trump was reelected. Many of the people who voted for him not because they liked him. A lot of them voted for him saying, I don't like what he says. He doesn't seem to be a nice guy. He's not a moral person. But the economy was better when he was president. My business or my own personal finances were going better. And so that's why I voted for him, because I don't so much like him, but I want a better economy for myself. And because of that, I believe that if the economy were to turn around in a few weeks or a few months, that it would be very tempting for you, as well as it would be for myself, to say, well, yeah, he didn't do some nice things. There were some things that might not have been totally in harmony with the law. It wasn't very kind of how he treated those people around the world, or the people in Gaza or Ukraine, or the people depending on US aid, the millions of people who have been depending for their lives, not just their thriving, but their actual lives on US aid. It wasn't the best for them, but at least I got cheaper eggs. And I believe it will be very tempting for myself, and I know for others, because many have told me that if that's what we get out of it, a better economy, then basically all costs are worth it. This is a concern, and I believe this is a greater concern than anything President Trump can or will do to this country. Because if we as a country are not wholly committed to justice for justice sake, this country will not last. If you can think of it this way, instead of focusing on justice, if we're focusing on just us, this country will not last. And this is not my opinion alone. This is the opinion of the founding fathers of this country. Ben Franklin, probably one of the most famous, who said this, that justice is served when those who are unaffected by it are as outraged as those who are affected. Justice is served when those who are unaffected by it are as outraged as those who are affected by it. This is similar to what Martin Luther King said, that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. I want you to notice what both of these thinkers are saying, that justice is not just a moral thing that, oh, I need to do it so that a God in heaven will look favorably on me. That, might be a motivation for some people. But what they're saying is that there is an inherent a threat to any individuals in a society that is not rooted on justice. Because even though I may not be affected by injustice today, if I do not champion justice in every case today, eventually that injustice will consume me. And we have seen this in society after society, that yes, it first starts with a scapegoated minority group, but eventually it rises to the top of the top. Probably the French Revolution is the biggest example of that, where Robespierre and the cronies were going through with their guillotine and just chopping off heads until it made it up to them and their heads were chopped off. That is the warning that we have for this country, that if we allow injustice to be done to the illegal immigrants, and then not just the illegal immigrants, the legal asylum seekers, and not just the legal asylum seekers, the people who are here on a temporary visa status, the Haitian migrants whose temporary status is being revoked, if we allow injustice to be done to the federal workers who have given their careers to serving this country, if we allow injustice to happen to the aid workers, millions of them around the world who have given their careers and their livelihood, the best of themselves to serve and help relieve suffering in this world, if we allow injustice to happen to them, if we allow injustice to happen to the veterans who have been serving this world, we allow injustice to happen to generals in our military, we allow injustice to happen to those who were affected by January 6th, and now those who attack them, those people who have been threatening them, are now let back on the street. If we allow injustice to happen in our society, running rampantly in our society, Ben Franklin and Martin Luther King are telling us, eventually we ourselves will be consumed by that injustice. And so what I'm saying is that a greater concern, separate from Donald Trump, is what are you going to do? What am I going to do? Will I be content with cheaper eggs? Am I only concerned with just us? Do I only care about Ian's bottom line, or am I committed to justice? Because even in addition to the fact, even if you don't believe in a God in heaven like I do, even if you don't believe in these higher principles, or even if you don't care about being a moral person, history has shown that an unjust society will fall. And so my appeal to you is that let's be committed not just to the things that we want, but let's be committed to justice, because ultimately that will determine the fate of this nation.